A very good afternoon, everyone. Jeremy here from Quant Strategic, and it's now 29th November, 2 p.m. Sunday in Singapore, and an update on the Straits Times Index. And I'll start off with the monthly charts, and just to reiterate what has happened for the S&P correction, the STI. Over the past 27 years, the STI has actually been in a range, a broad range, and as you can see, sort of a cone shape developing into a isosceles triangle, with the center being at about 3,000 points on the STI. All right, so zooming in over the last 2 years, we had a short signal on the 1st of October 2018, which resulted uh, of a drop to 2,400 during the pandemic lows. So essentially, we had a nice rally over the month of November, resulting in this lovely candlestick that has hit our initial target at 2813, which coincides with the Kijun line on our super correction on our cloud indicator, Ichimoku cloud indicator, which was at 2813. So we have actually broken and held above 2813 for the closing week of the STI last week. And next week, we should be opening up to try to test this target, which is our pivot at 3108, which is this particular super trend line that has been bearish for almost 1.5 years. So a break of 3108 and a hole above 3,300 points will actually revert the STI up into bullish territory. Of course, that is many, many weeks and many, many months of work. But just as a discussion, I would like viewers to know what we can expect in a bullish scenario. But for a bearish scenario, which is what the charts are currently pointing to, because of this short signal on the 1st of October 2018, we would expect price to actually revert and bounce off 3108, as what we have always seen on Ichimoku cloud indicators, to actually hit 3108, and then after that bounce back and try to break the Kijun or the super trend line and test the lows. So for the bearish scenario, we can see that 3108, a very, very powerful pivot, is something to watch for as we head towards the end of the year for this Santa Claus rally to continue. So 3108 will be updated as we go along next week till December 31st of 2020. We want to see whether price action is able to break above or break down from 3108 to test further lows. So two scenarios there. I will update this chart next week as usual. And if there's any significant movements or news flow, I will update this chart tactically. So, continuing with our discussion from the long term charts of the monthly, we now move to the weekly charts of the STI. And this is the weekly chart of the STI. And if you can see, the downtrend of the STI, which started in the 5th of August 2019, over here, has actually hit a low of at about 2,200 points. It has bounced back this year, did a lower low, and currently we have broken the super trend line on the 7th of November, just this month, at about 2693 with a target of 3108, which is our super trend line currently on the monthly. So to make it clearer for you guys, to zoom down to what's currently happened. So the long signal at 2693 issued about 2 weeks ago, currently targets just about the super trend line on the monthly, which I've talked about, and very nice 3 weeks of gains for the STI. And if there is a pullback, then we need to look at three levels. The first one is a pivot at 2746. Now, this is very important because the pivot sits on the SSSB line on the cloud. So we want price action to continue to maintain in this region above the cloud for it to maintain this bullish stance. A break below 2746, I would advise caution. Once it breaks 2746, it will quickly test the Kijun as well as the Tenkan line, which is now at 2663, and ultimately our pivot support at 2585, which is the super trend line that has been broken for the uptrend to form. All right. So key things to look out for on the weekly charts. We have just about 4 weeks, 5 weeks to go before the end of 2020. Either we touch 3108 to the upside, which is a super trend level at the monthly chart, or we may pull back to test 2746, 2663, and 2585 to the downside. But meanwhile, bullish scenario on the weekly charts overall. All right, so for now, I'm going to discuss the daily charts, which most of you will be using for your technical analysis as well as analysis of your own stocks. On the daily chart, pretty straightforward, very nice bullish action given a long at 2506 and targeting 3108, and the signal was given on the 4th of November early on this month. And if you had gone long based on this particular signal, very nice upside, 2,925 thereabouts, giving you almost 400 points on the STI. Very, very nice catch for the end of the year rally. And currently, the levels which I am looking out for is at 2842, and a very important downside target would be 2767 as the pivot, and then a final support at 2671. Just to take note, the STI has been probably a very, very nice run over the past 3 weeks. So we need to maintain this support initially at 2842 for this rally to continue on to 3108. Otherwise, watch for the pivot at 2767 and then 2671 for support. Overall, lovely bull run, very, very bullish signal on the STI, and hence also for the rest of the component stocks of the STI, which I have a table on my website, quantstrategic.com.sg. You can refer to. It's a weekly matrix of all the 30 components in the Straits Times Index. So continuing on with our discussion on the STI, on the 4 hourly chart, which is the chart that I use, same theme that you can see, a very nice long signal at 2494 that was issued on the 3rd of November. Same targets at 3108 for the super trend at the moment. Very nice long signal. If you held that signal, you would have a very nice profit till the close of trading week of last week on the 27th of November, and price has actually retreated a little bit right here and sort of broken the Tenkan line at 2877. Well, I am usually quite cautious whenever the Tenkan line is broken, which is this particular yellow line here. And we want to actually now see, paying very close attention to this pivot at 2839. So this pivot right here has been holding support for the STI on the 4 hourly chart for almost 2.5 to 3 weeks right now. A break of 2839 will test quickly 2797, and then they will try to go for the SSSA line on this cloud on the 4 hourly. So pay very careful attention for those who are taking swing trades on any stocks on the STI, because once the STI starts to correct, most of the stocks will follow. So for today, I'm just going to cover some of the stocks that most investors have been asking me about besides the STI. The first one, which I would like to talk about, is Singapore Airlines. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to continue on a couple of post on Singapore Airlines, as well as a discussion of the bank stocks, as well as the property counters for the month of November. Just click on subscribe, as well as the little bell button to notify you when those reports on Singapore Airlines, the banks, as well as the property stocks will be up. So overall, for the Singapore for Straits Times Index, nice bull run since the 3rd of November. And we are trying very hard for the Straits Times Index to target 3108. Meanwhile, the center course rally prevails. And let's see what happens as we close out this year, 2020, which is a very, very interesting year for the stock markets. See you soon and watch for my videos.